Hello, so we are back again at the bar with Mark and Choppers. I got the name right this time. I mean, we finished that game, kind of broke the curse, to say the least. But for me personally, that was a little disappointing performance from the Arsenal. What do you guys feel?
I don't know about disappointing. I thought we were disciplined throughout the match. Credit to Everton. They had a plan and they stuck to it. The plan was just to defend and defend and defend. And they did it well. Sean and I were discussing that during the match. We were both of the opinion eventually we were going to find a way through, and we did. So I'm quite satisfied with the result.
That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, this is a team that we should be, like, technically blowing them away because they have not been playing well.
We did technically blow them away.
I mean, from possession stats, yes, but from a shots, like, if you consider like the Burnley versus Tottenham, of course we need to talk about that. Even though Burnley were leading most of the game, Tottenham outshot them, outplayed them.
Wasn't that Sheffield United?
Oh, sorry,
It was Sheffield,
yeah, my bad. But we didn't have that kind of a game against today.
I don't think I thought we controlled that game quite well. There was only one team that was ever going to score a goal, and it was Arsenal. We had the ball in their half for more than 2/3 of the game. Final possession, I think, was something like 75-25. I haven't seen the final stats for shots, but I would imagine it is something along the lines of it's got to be like 8-3 at least. There's not a lot of shots, but we worked the ball well. We moved it around very well. Some of the touches that we made at the top of their box were exquisite. The reason we didn't get chances out of that, like I said, is I have to take my hat off to Everton. They defended very well. But there was only ever going to be one winner.
The way I look at it was a typical dice baby setup from Everton. It's right after an international break. We had a lot of players, Brazilian players, have went a long way away. Tactically and technically, we were very good in the first 15-20 minutes, a lot of movement and so on. Just one pass too many instead of shooting. That's the way I saw it. Everton set up really well. Everton played a very good game. So Arsenal, like I said, after an international break, playing away from home against a Burnley Everton set-up team, it's difficult. It's difficult to have that extra 10% energy.
But like, okay, so we had a debutant today with Raya coming in for Ramsdale. There has been like two sides to the Arsenal fan base. One going like, oh, this is the start of the end for Ramsdale, and the other one's going like, no, we have to start playing Raya more. Which side are you guys on?
No, I don't see it that way.
It's not the end for Ramsdale at all.
He's going to be England's #1 goalkeeper. Arsenal are not going to give up England's #1 goalkeeper.
No.
We had David Seaman for a decade, right? So no, that's not going to happen.
We never had a really good backup for Seaman.
No, we didn't.
And now we've got probably the best 1-2 keeper combination in the country.
And we need that if we're going to fight on all four fronts. Let's say Ramsdale gets injured. Thank God we got Raya. Because if we want to win trophies, we've got to have two top players in each position. That includes goalkeepers.
I mean, that's what Arteta says, but like if I look at, say, other teams like City or even Liverpool for that sake, they don't have they don't have two top goalkeepers.
No, they don't. And if Alisson ever gets injured, Liverpool are kind of screwed. Who's the backup at City? He's actually played a few games and he wasn't that bad, to be honest.
Yes, he was good.
But again, it's a big step down for them. And if Ederson is ever out for a long period of time, I know, to be fair, with City's defense, there's not going to be too many shots on goal against them anyway. So perhaps they don't need a good backup. But,
But City are looking brilliant.
Yeah, it can't hurt to have two world-class goalkeepers on your squad. Just keep them both happy. And Ramsdale knows this. He says he welcomes the competition. He knows he's not going to play every game.
I mean, as an extension of that conversation, right? Like having two players. Martinelli went off injured, and we got Trossard in, and he looked absolutely brilliant.
I didn't think Martinelli should be starting this match anyway. I thought Trossard should because of all the travel time.
But do you think like in the starting 11, it should be Trossard ahead of Martinelli at this point?
No,
Not in general, no, but for this match, yes. Because the three Brazilian Gabriels, they didn't get back into London until 2:30 in the afternoon Thursday, and that was after a 12-hour overnight flight across
Plus
6
all the
time
flight
zones.
times
Plus
in-
all the flying in within South America. They
Flying
went-
there and in South America.
Yeah, they went from the first match in Rio de Janeiro to Lima, Peru for the second match.
So the one thing that I also wanted to touch upon was, Havertz didn't get the start, and Vieira got the start.
And it should have been like that from the beginning of the season. Arteta should have integrated them into the squad slowly.
A little more easily,
He threw him in head first 4 matches. Probably because Arteta was thinking, okay, we're playing cannon fodder teams, basically ones that are going to be either relegated or close to relegation. So that's why he took that gamble. It did work. As far as I'm concerned, it did work. He needs to be integrated. He needs to learn the Arsenal system. Much like Vieira last year. It's taken Vieira a season to adapt to Arsenal and to the Premiership and bulk up. He's got a stronger core now. He's 10 pounds heavier with muscle. And it takes time.
I totally agree with that. I mean, all the people that are trying to write off Havertz simply because he's from Chelsea and cost a lot of money, and they really need to give their head a shake. It takes a long time to integrate from one team to another, particularly when you're coming from that dumpster fire that is Chelsea, where he was never properly coached. He had no system to play under, 4 different managers, none of whom had a clue. And now he's suddenly come into a place like Arsenal where everything is micromanaged to the nth degree.
Well,
it takes a while.
The total difference is you've got a team who's playing at the top level, top 1 or 2 teams in England, and you got another team that's basically relegation fodder or very close to it.
With £1.5 billion of talent.
I mean,
Well, I wouldn't say talent.
yes, exactly.
It might cost them $1.5 billion, but there's not much talent there,
It cost them $1.5 billion, but it's only worth about 400 million.
if they're lucky.
I mean, okay. So talking about the other games this week, though, it's been like there has been a lot of talks about Tottenham being really good, and we are playing them next.
They've also been lucky too.
They were lucky they got so much injury time against Sheffield. The 98th and 100th minutes they scored in.
I mean,
To be
we
fair,
did the
they're both
same.
good goals though.
I won't take that away. They were good goals. But other seasons, when there was only 3 or 4 minutes injury time, they lose that game 1-0.
I mean, we could have done the same against
I would
United
love to
too.
have had
Yes,
Maddison
that's true.
and the 25 million instead of Havertz. I mean, what a player Maddison's turning out for Tottenham.
Yeah, he fits Tottenham very well.
Yeah.
I think he would have fought for minutes with Odegaard playing for
But
Arsenal.
he can also play an 8 as well.
I mean,
He
I'm
can.
worried a little bit about Odegaard because I think like he's not being at his best or not getting involved much in the games.
Oh, I totally disagree with that. He was my man of the match today.
He's
I thought he was superb
a
today.
great technical player. Once again, he just came back from international break. 17 Arsenal players were away. You got 3 injured, that's 20, and we've got a 24-man squad if you don't count the kid defender. So there's only 4 players training at London Colney for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So what do you expect?
That's an interesting take. So your man of the match is Odegaard,
Mine is
and what
Odegaard.
would yours be?
I thought Saliba was absolutely brilliant. The way balls went past him near the goal line, and he held those
Yeah.
defenders back and saw it's like, you're not getting past me.
And there's a couple other times where a defender actually got past him, but he just seamlessly inserted himself between the defender and the ball. You're thinking, oh my God, the guy's got past him. It's dead nailed on certainty for a cross. And the guy couldn't even touch the ball because Saliba's in the way.
His passing was very good today too.
Yeah.
So
Cup-
no,
cup-
Saliba was my man of the match.
Couple of hospital passes.
Yes, it was.
So how confident are you guys going into the North London Derby next week?
Oh, extremely confident.
Very
We're at the
very
Emirates.
confident.
It's going to be a thrashing. I think it's going to be 4-1,
I think-
5-0. I think we're really going to bend them over, bring down their shorts.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's going to be quite that bad, but
It is in
I
tongue in
think
cheek.
I think I certainly think we're going to win, and we're going to win by a couple of goals at least. Tottenham they've had moments of brilliance, but you can still see a lot of the old Spursiness. If you looked at the whole match, not just the highlight package, there are long periods of time where they look like chickens with their heads cut off.
And let's face it, You know, they got a striker who scores 1 goal in 10 if he's lucky.
Yeah.
And do you see Man United firing Ten Hag anytime soon?
If it goes 2 or 3 more games with losses, like 2 or 3 more straight losses, yeah.
Yeah, and it would be a very short-sighted move because as damaged as United are right now, a disciplinarian like Ten Hag, I think, is the only way they can recover.
The players have to learn that.
Yes, they do have to learn.
He's the man. Like, he's in charge. Much like the Arsenal players when Arteta first came along. You know, and were acting the fools and trying their stuff and showing up late at training ground. You know, the owners or the management team above have to say, no, he's our man. They need to go in the room and say, he's our man. All you guys will go first.
Yeah, and that's nobody was sacred. Aubameyang went.
Yeah.
He just pissed off Arteta too many times, and that was it. You're a discipline issue. You're not playing. Goodbye.
Last 2 questions. One should be about like Pepe leaving. The man came in as the highest, highest money spent on transfers. Do you think like 4 years? What does that mean?
It was time for him to go.
Yeah, it was a bad deal all around. I think there was a lot of dodginess.
He was £35 million player at best.
Yeah, and I understood, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but we could actually have had him for something like 40 to 45 million, and it was Arsenal that bumped up the price.
Yeah, it was, because nobody was paying any more than 45 million.
Yeah.
All the agents all over Europe were like, what's going on here? What happened? They were all upset they weren't in on the deal.
He simply didn't work out, and sometimes that's a risk that you take. I have to say, in our defense, most of the big money purchases we've made have worked out.
They have. I tell you this, so far I've done really well on any player you spent more than 25 million on. The jury is out on Havertz though, and we'll see if he comes good.
He needs 5 matches in. I mean, Henry didn't score till after 6 matches. Bergkamp took 8 matches.
Yeah.
The same people that are writing Havertz off now, they would have written off Henry and Bergkamp.
I mean,
too.
they did write off Henry and Bergkamp.
They did. Lots of people wrote
time,
them off. They said, yeah, they run around a bit, but they're useless. Mm-hmm. And look at that. They were the 2 best players in the world for a while.
Yep. The last question is, now that the first break is on us and we have gone past it, the table's kind of taking shape. Do you see anything concrete, like where teams would be, like top 4?
I think the top 4, well, for sure, 3 teams in there are City, Liverpool, and Arsenal.
Totally agree with those 3. Absolutely.
And I think the 4th team at the end of the year is going to be Brighton.
Depending if they sell the players in January. If some of the big clubs come in and they take Ferguson, they take the Japanese kid, and they sell those, then bets are off.
I think Brighton are done being a selling club. They've got to a point now where they have 2 or 3 players that are 9-figure players. You cannot deny that Ferguson is a 9-figure player, and Matoma is getting up towards that category as well.
In today's market.
In today's market, yeah. And I think they're done selling these guys. They are now in a position, they're in Europe now. They've got a big squad.
They don't need the money. They got hundreds of millions of pounds in the bank.
They have made a huge profit over the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And I think they're set. I think their squad is nearly complete. They're competing in Europe. They are going to be in the Champions League next season because they're going to finish top 4 this year. I don't think they're going to be losing those players anymore.
And I like what Brighton's doing. I used to watch them play live in the 70s when I lived in a small little village called Seaford on the coast. So we used to take the train, which was 12 miles away, down to Brighton and watch them when they were in the 3rd division. So for me to see them come up and do well, I like that. I like what they've done.
They've done a very good job of putting together their team, and they got a great manager in De Zerbi.
Yep.
I'm actually really looking forward to when we play Brighton in November. That's going to be a fantastic match.
It's going to be an open-ended match, and there'll be like a roaring 100 minutes, a roaring 100
I can
minutes.
see that one finishing 5-4
6-5 or something.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. Goals everywhere.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Hopefully see you after the next game.
A pleasure.
Oh, and don't forget, the next game is Spurs at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So get ready, strap it on.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you.